So what I want to share with you today is the 3 things to get you out of your cocoon season. And if there's anything that you can learn from me, at least on this podcast episode, is that it doesn't have to be a year long. Because I definitely started off by saying, so about a year ago, and like now I'm in butterfly season, right? Like it doesn't have to be this long, but it does take a lot of undoing and it does take a lot of work. And we're going to go through the 3 things that I did that worked for me, and I hope that they work for you. If you try them out, let me know, post it on Instagram stories, tag me in it so like we can like live this together. But let me just jump right into it. Welcome to the very first ever butterfly season podcast, episode 1. I am just like having a little bit of a surreal moment right now. I feel like I'm like living out a dream that I never knew was like meant for me. If you would have asked me years ago, even like if I would be like my own host on a podcast, I would be like, probably not. But here we are, right? So I want this episode to really break down butterfly season and how it started and how we got here, because I feel like you will listen and hear maybe a little bit of yourself in these stories. And if you do, then I'm so glad you're here. Just because like we all go through like seasons in our lives, and it feels a lot better when you're feeling like I'm not actually in this by myself. So let me take you a little bit back. I want to say about a year ago, had everything that you would presumably want as a young entrepreneur. My own business, 10 employees, great clients, getting paid really well, Forbes 30 under 30, just on the cover of magazines, like promoting my business, like literally at the peak of it all. Like, yeah, at the peak. But here's the thing. I was working 18-hour days and like it just wasn't feeling like in alignment. Like my relationship was suffering. Like my friendships were suffering. I just like was a shell of myself because I was so consumed with work. And I just felt like success shouldn't be this hard. That's not to say that you don't need hard work for success. I truly believe that you do. That's to say, I felt like there was so much resistance that it shouldn't be this way. And I couldn't even really put words to it. Now I can with like my hindsight eyes, but like as it was happening, like I just was like, this just doesn't feel right. And so I said a little prayer and be warned, if you ever pray this prayer, just know that like your shit's about to get rocked. So I prayed like, God, you know what? If this isn't for me, take it away. And while you're at it, take it away very quickly because like no one has time for that, right? And maybe it was a little bit naive, but like literally like shit went south from there. So what started it all was actually a sound bath with one of my very dear friends, Sam. I had never gone before. But leading up, so this was like in March and it was 2021. And so like COVID was still a thing. And I went to this community sound bath and it was like out in the open and people were like just starting to not wear masks, but like it was still a thing. It's still like a highly controversial thing for some people, but like no one was wearing a mask there. I brought one in my bag, but I was like, I feel fine. At that point, I hadn't got COVID yet. So I'm still a little bit like, I haven't got it. And I don't know if anyone feels this way, but like up until I got it, I was like, anything like, do I have COVID? Is this COVID? Oh my God. And like, when, like, if I would feel a little tickle in my throat or a cough, I'm like, is it going to get worse? Like, what's happening? I honestly have no idea. I was just like very scared. And so, I go to this sound bath. She's like, come sit in the front. I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, this sounds fine. Sit in the front. And like, she's like playing the bowls. And as she's playing, like my throat literally starts to get like tight, like literally tight. And I'm like, am I getting COVID right here, right now? Like, is this how it happens? Right. And I just, did not know what to expect. I kind of felt the urge to cry, but I was like, am I wanting to cry because I feel like I have COVID, or am I wanting to cry because I'm scared, or is it this sound bath? So the sound bath is done. She's like, how was it? I'm like my throat, it's just really tight. And she's like, oh, babe, your throat chakra's blocked. And I'm like, okay, like what's a throat chakra? Anyway, I go home and I'm like Googling like blocked throat chakra. But before that, so that was in March. Before that, from January to March, I was having like hearing issues. Like we were all on Zoom at the time. Like we were all fatigued from Zoom. And so was I. But when I was on Zoom, however, like the audio from the laptop would hit my ears hurt so much. Like in the morning, I just felt like my ears were plugged. And I'm like, do I have an ear infection? And we've all seen those TikToks where someone's like pulling all this gunk out of the ear. I'm like, maybe I need that procedure. Like, what's going on? I legitimately was having hearing problems. And it wasn't like the sound was going like lower and lower, like I couldn't hear. It was that there was like a mask over, almost like maybe headphones or something. Anyway, go to the sound bath in March. So this is like January, February, March, all 3 of those months, hearing problems. Go to the sound bath, get told that my throat chakra is blocked, and then I'm Googling like, how do you unblock a throat chakra? And then it's like, and then I'm like, symptoms of an unblocked throat chakra. Like, you guys know the Google rabbit holes. Like, you're just like searching, and then all of like the other subsequent questions pop down below. And so then I'm like, okay, symptoms of a blocked throat chakra, because clearly this is COVID, not a blocked throat chakra. Like, I was so convinced. And it said that symptoms of a blocked throat chakra one of them is loss of hearing. Like literally loss of hearing. And I like, my heart sunk to my chest, or I don't know, sunk to my stomach, whatever. It fell. The pit of the stomach type of feeling. That's what I had. That's exactly what I had. And so I was like, damn, like I do have a blocked throat chakra. So now what? Like, how do you unblock a throat chakra? And I was like, okay, Googling, how do you unblock a throat chakra? And it was like, you have to say something that you haven't said and that you've been holding in. And I like instantly knew what it was. It was like, I can no longer do this anymore. Like, I can't live life, run my business this way, do the things that I was doing in this way anymore. Like, done today. And so I would like to say that it was that quick, but I definitely didn't stop any of the things I was doing. It's kind of like, you know, like God throws a little pebble at you to get your attention, you're not listening, throws like a big rock, you're not listening, throws a boulder, you're like, okay, I get it. So that was like I would say my rock, like a medium-sized rock. But a few months after that, I was like, okay, I'm listening now, and like shut it all down. Like literally every single thing, like fired all of our employees, fired all of our staff, staff and employees, same thing, clients, fired all of our clients, like let all of our interns go. Like it was literally a really sad time, because I felt like I was letting a lot of people down, but also I was like, the pain that I feel, the resistance that I feel cannot be worse than letting the people down. And ultimately it wasn't. Like what I was sitting with, nobody could make me feel worse than how I was already feeling. And I thought after that, I'm like, okay, like things are going to feel great. It's going to be great. Like, it's just, you know, a little blip in things. Like, I can create success so quickly. I've already done it. Like, very ego driven. And for those of you that are listening to me for the first time, you will soon find out that I am like Enneagram 3, projector human design. Like, you can see easily, and if you don't know anything about the Enneagram, you can see easily like how my worth, it was attached to what I did. My worth was attached to the accolades. My worth was attached to all of it. And so the moment it came crashing down, I thought that it was going to be like cinchy to just do something more aligned and make even more money, right? But like, it just wasn't like that. What I quickly realized was that I was actually needing to go through an undoing. Like the things that got me to the success that I had and the accolades that I had and all of the things like that, and the way I knew success isn't actually going to be the same things that get me to this next level. And if they are, I'm just repeating the same cycle. And that is what I learned during this like year-long transition. And I kept telling my friends, I'm like, I just feel like I'm in a cocoon and like I'm like almost out and I will eventually be out, but my wings are too big. I just felt like, I don't know, like I was just like hibernating of some sort. And I kept saying like, I just can't wait for my butterfly season. And it was in those conversations that this like concept was birthed, really. And so what I want to share with you today is the 3 things to get you out of your cocoon season. And if there's anything that you can learn from me, at least on this podcast episode, is that it doesn't have to be a year long. Because I definitely started off by saying, so about a year ago, and like now I'm in butterfly season, right? Like it doesn't have to be this long, but it does take a lot of undoing and it does take a lot of work. And we're going to go through the 3 things that I did that worked for me, and I hope that they work for you. If you try them out, let me know, post it on Instagram stories, tag me in it so like we can like live this together. But let me just jump right into it. The very first thing is you need to clear up your physical space. And this is so important because scientifically, your brain cannot process when there's chaos around you. It just literally can't. And the crazy thing is that, and I'm sure you guys will notice this, there's usually a direct correlation between where the clutter is around you, where the chaos is around you, and what you're experiencing about that thing. So let me give you an example. I grew up very poor, like powdered milk poor, like could not afford milk. So I was mixing water and powder to make milk. Grew up in a low income neighborhood, like didn't have a lot of clothes, didn't have like all of the nice things. And so now that I'm in a position to afford nicer things for myself, my closet at one point was chaos, like just packed to the brim of things, clothes that I would never wear anymore. I like literally just couldn't get rid of anything. And when I started to look deeper at why my closet was chaos and why I had so much of a hard time getting rid of things, was because I had scarcity around, I might never have this again because I didn't have it before. So I like didn't want to get rid of it because I'm like, I never had this. Let me just keep everything I have. And so when I cleared out my closet, while it took some time, but also was like, mentally, it took time for me to be like, okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Or okay, I'm not going to get rid of that. Or okay, like I never will wear that. Like I did this rule of thumb, like if I haven't worn it in over a year, then like let it go. And it was after cleaning it out that I realized, no, actually, this is deeper for me. And I share that story with you because clutter around you is a manifestation of clutter in your mind. And so the clutter in my mind was showing up in my closet. But for some of you, it might be in your finances, it might be in your car, it might be in your junk drawer, it might be in your home just generally, right? And so you need to clear up your physical space to be able to clear up your mental space, to be able to get clear on what's going on in your mental, to move and free up some of that space. That's step 1. Physical space. So declutter everything around you if you can. Another fun thing that my husband and I did was like each weekend we would tackle a section of the house and like completely declutter it and clear it out and throw stuff away. And that's been a lot of fun because like over time when we make a lot of progress, but like you can kind of see like we have all of this stuff for what? We don't use it. We'll never use it. We're just keeping it for whatever. And it's not as if we ever need that again for whatever random reason, we can go out and buy it. So clean up your physical space. Now, the second step is mental space. So now that you do have a clean area around you, you want to clear up your mental space. And for some people, for me, that was meditation because I felt like there were levels of my thought process that like I couldn't quite reach and that I could get more clarity when it was like at a subconscious level. And I was meditating literally every single day, like every single day. And this is like after, I burned everything to the ground, like all of my success, I just shut it down. I was meditating every single day, partly because I didn't have anything better to do, because I like didn't have a job anymore. Like I wasn't responsible for any employees. Like I was just in my cocoon bag. And so I was meditating because I wanted to get clarity like on what's next. I was like so scared to take action on anything because I didn't want to create it the same way I did before. And I was having nightmares. Like they were, when you have a dream and you say it out loud to someone and you're like, wow, like that was actually really scary. But as I say it to you, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I was so scared. Like I was having those dreams, and the dreams were around me, like derailing my life, like over the dumbest thing. Like one of them was that like I killed somebody with spaghetti. Like I like put a bowl in their face of spaghetti and was like, wait, how did you die? And then I'm going to jail. And I was just having like reoccurring dreams with like themes like that. And if it wasn't for meditation, I wouldn't have realized what my subconscious was actually telling me. And what my subconscious was telling me was that I realized that I have such a clean slate now, such a clean slate that I can literally do whatever I want, create whatever I want. And that was scary. But it's actually in the nothing when you can become anything. And if it wasn't for meditation and understanding and decoding my subconscious mind, I may have not made the mental space to process that. I would have not realized that like I'm operating out of scarcity for a future that can be so beautiful. And so that's why it's important to create that space for you to actually clear up your mental space as well. Because for some of us, it is messy in there. So number 2 is mental space. And the third one is vision. And this one is so beautiful because creating a routine around your vision helps you stay focused to this bigger calling that you have. And so what I did is I created a value statement with like one of my great friends, Lizzie. She like walked me through a value statement. We wrote down all of my core values just in words. Like I'm God-fearing, generous, grateful, full of gratitude, a great wife, a great leader, a great businesswoman, like all of these things. And then I added context around them. So I am a God-fearing woman who is extremely generous and full of gratitude. And I am a great wife. I love my partner. We're strong when the other one's weak. We have fun. We play together. We laugh. Like I just added context to each one of those core values. And then I just wrote them out in paragraphs. And like that was my value statement based off of all of my core values. One thing that was really cool that we did when I was building it out is you go through each core value and make sure that neither one conflicts with the other. So an example of a conflicting core value, and this is a little bit extreme, but hey, it might resonate. If you're like, I love to have fun. And if fun for you consists of like partying so hard you can't also be hardworking, if that's another core value for you, then those are conflicting. That doesn't mean that you can't have fun and party super hard, but like if it compromises you being a hardworking person, then those core values don't align. So just make sure, like if you guys ever do this exercise, cross-reference your core values to make sure that they're all in alignment. So I have my vision, my value statement, my mission statement, my life mission statement, and then I pulled images online for every like facet of my life. So faith, career, family, finances. And I just pulled a bunch of images that like went with that in which I wanted to create. And so one powerful thing about that exercise, another friend of mine has one just like it. And I was looking at her images and she had a bunch of numbers. It was like 3 numbers, comma, 3 numbers, comma. So like it looked like dollars, but there was no dollar sign. And I'm like, why do you have these numbers on here? And she was like, because I don't want to self-sabotage when I do ever see like numbers that big. Meaning if I ever come across and build generational wealth this big, I don't want to sabotage it because I've never seen it before. And that oh my God, was like the most powerful thing for me to hear because like I said, I've come from nothing, right? So the images can be like anything and everything, but I love doing it online and not on a magazine because you can literally search for the one thing that has the most meaning to you and integrate that thing. So I have each like little collage in my camera roll on my phone and my mission statement, and I create a routine around my vision. Every morning and every night, I read my value statement to myself and I look at the images. And I sleep, wake up, read the value statement, look at the images, because I want that to be the first thing that I think about when I'm going into my day every day so that I'm operating off of my mission, what I want to create in the life that I want to live. And so those are the three things that really got me out of Cocoon season. And now I do want to say, while I condensed them into three beautiful things, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of undoing and there's a lot of like messiness and tears and childhood trauma unpacking that needs to go on in your Cocoon season so that you can live fully in your butterfly season. But when you do the work, you realize that the beauty is actually in the transformation. Like the beauty is in this metamorphosis, and that's why you can live fully in your butterfly season. So that's what you can expect here on the Butterfly Season podcast. Like we will just get into all of the things, experts on all of the different modalities that help you shake up that energy and like get around the childhood trauma or in and through the childhood trauma so that you can live your best life. Like literally everything, we're talking about it. We're going to be growing together. And I'm just so grateful to have you on board my butterfly season, our butterfly season, the butterfly season. So thank you so much. And until next time.